Hi, I'm Jennifer Morrell with Masonry Magazine's Video News, and I'm joined today by Clint Bridges with Easy Scaffold. Thanks for being with us, Clint.
You're welcome, Jennifer.
With safety being such a big issue for the scaffolding industry and adherence to regulations with OSHA and whatnot, tell me how your company addresses safety issues.
Well, when we started manufacturing over 20 years ago now, it was kind of a different world at that time. Standards have changed dramatically since then, and probably the biggest difference, though, is the enforcement on the job site, not by OSHA or any other government entity, but by the general contractors and the owners themselves and their safety departments. They're really requiring the subcontractors to kind of step it up, and by that means they're forcing us to step it up as well. And we've always been a hands-on company. We've always come out there and set up the scaffold and really worked with our customers in instruction and training and made sure that they knew what they were doing and were using it safely and correctly. But now lately we've worked with the scaffold industry as members of the Scaffold Industry Association and Access Industry, and we're an accredited training institute with them.
Fantastic.
So we're accredited to work with to do training on supported scaffold, crank-up scaffold, and mast climbing scaffold. And along with the mast climbing scaffold, the Scaffold and Access Industry of America has a partnership with the International Power and Access Federation to provide their curriculum and their training. And through that, we have an accredited IPAF training. So we can provide the POW cards. You might have heard of the POW cards.
I have heard of the POW card, yes.
With other access, and I think your magazine's done that in the past.
We've covered it, yeah.
We can issue those POW cards provided by the IPAF industry, which is an international card with a great training, and that's all through the Scaffold and Access industry. So that we can make sure that the end user is well trained. And I don't know if you're probably well aware of this, and I know the end user is aware of how much it means. The masonry industry is the highest industry as far as OSHA fines go,
right, yes,
when it comes to scaffolding.
Right.
And as you know, accidents are a big part of that as well. And so it's, these days and times when you just don't have that kind of money in the jobs to take those hits, it's real important to have your guys trained. So
right,
when those inspectors show up on the job, you don't get fined, and it also doesn't stop you working, because what's the most expensive thing is not that fine, it's if you have to stop working that day. So it's real important, I think, for the mason industry and the contractors to take advantage of what the scaffold industry is giving them, that training to really help them, maybe make a little money and be more profitable, as well as having a safe job site.
So in the quote-unquote new economy, Clint, where are you seeing growth around the industry?
Well, the old economy for the last couple of years has been quite a challenge, so I'm welcoming a new economy. After 9/11, at that time we were strictly a manufacturer, and even though the masonry industry was doing fairly well, people had work and were making money at that time, they were afraid to buy anything because they didn't know where it was going. And so at that time, like I said, we were strictly a manufacturer, and that was the lifeblood. Sales were the lifeblood of our company. So we restructured the way we do business a little bit and opened up rentals to what we do. And if we hadn't been renting the last 2 or 3 years, you wouldn't be talking to me right now. Rentals have been a big part of our business, and so the rental industry is doing well. The last year, people have started buying again. So I think that the industry's headed the right way. People are making a little bit more money. Still not good yet, but it's headed the right direction. So that part of our industry is doing well. We've been renting a lot to general contractors to provide a multi-trade kind of facet. So the mason's working on it, all the other trades as well, and that's where the mast climbing scaffold really lends its hand. But as far as this type scaffold, the crank up and the mast climbing scaffold is a scaffold that I always say they're money-making machines. And when times are good, you're making money. But when times are tough, it makes you more competitive. And so if you don't have this type of equipment, it could be the difference between you getting a job or you actually making a little money in the job as well. And so you're seeing guys buy this scaffold or rent this scaffold just to make them competitive. It keeps your guys working at a waist-high level, and they never have to stop. So it decreases labor and increases production. And not to mention the guys like working off of it as well.
Right. So speaking of manufacturing, what would you say the differences are versus maybe 5 years ago with cost to manufacture, Do you do everything pretty much the same way, or have you had to tighten up or change
You've
what you do?
definitely had to tighten up. That's a good way of saying it. I always, I'm sure as well as our customers, your customers and my customers are basically the same. The industry we're talking to, you're doing less with more. I don't know how many times I've had guys say, you know, I feel like I'm starting over the way I'm doing business again. And and everything's going up but my paycheck. Everything's gotten much more expensive, but I can't really justify marking up my scaffold. It's difficult to get guys to spend that money as it is. So we've got an amazing group of guys, and they work hard. And like I said, we're producing more and just really making American manufacturing proud.
Right.
And you know, the cost of importing have gone up as well. So that's been a positive as far as American manufacturers. I think we're really going to start getting competitive. I mean, it's been a long time since we've really been in the frame scaffold industry business, and now we're looking at that. Yeah, we could probably start building frames again, and people would want to buy an American frame. So I think we're heading in the right direction as far as that goes. But it's a fight every day. I guess that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. All right, well, that's fantastic, and thank you again for all your time today. This is Jennifer Morrell signing off with Masonry Magazine Video News and Clint Bridges.
Thank you, Jennifer.